Okay. Hello, everybody. Mr.Basic here. This is my second attempt this week to go live. Hopefully, this internet connection will go better this time of night. Although I might not have so many viewers this time of night. It's close to midnight, which has been my usual time. Now, I have been known to talk about my experience here with having a home studio, building a home studio, trying to figure out what that all means, trying to figure out whether you can have pro sound come out of consumer gear or not, all sorts of things about music production, synthesis, and sound design, and very much a lot about modular synthesis, which is this stuff right here involving the cables and the knobs and whatnot, involving sound design down to its very basic elements. Now, the most new and exciting thing to happen in this world to me is this module right here, the Anywhere module. Now, I have not, up until now, been able to power all the modules that I have here on this this box here. I've only been able to power one or so of the two rows. Now I can power the whole thing because I'm powering one row with this, the new Polyend Anywhere module. And now what this is a power module that allows you to power your rack modules with something like this, a power bank. Let me see. Take a look. Take a look at what I look like on here. All right, and power bank like that. Now this is just an old one. It's at least 5 years old. It's not mine. It belonged to my partner, and she hasn't used it for as long as I've known her. It's been in a box, and I was like, oh, well, even though it has half the minimum specs that I want, only 10,000 mAh instead of 20,000, which was what I would be going for in the minimum if I'm going to go out there and buy one. It does have 3.4 amp max output at a time. And that's not about how long it takes, but how much power it can give out all at once. And that's plenty and enough if you're just using one USB out to do so. Because what I'm looking for in that range is 2.4 amps minimum output. And the MAH would be the capacity, and I'm looking for more like a 20,000 MAH or more capacity, just so that it lasts that much longer. It has that much more power. Now, what my extensive research has shown me about power banks and about the possibility of turning your modular into not only a battery powered or because of that, it being a closed system in some way or another because of being battery powered. Not only that, there's also now the option of going solar powered, and has been for a while, and there's been ways to do it. But now this is a big thing for power banks nowadays, is that you can get solar powered power banks, things like this, that have the solar panels on the front, right? So they can be powered by the sun, Now, what my research has shown me mainly is that, on average, if you're going to power it that way or utilize its extra power that way, solar-wise, having a simple rectangle for a panel here on top of your power bank is going to make it take, on average, about 40 hours to charge that way, as opposed to just charging it from a wall, which you can always still do. So, what's the solution? The solution is power banks that have this, but fold out 3, 4, 5 times, however, whatever, that have this fold out panel so that there's a much larger panel to suck up the power of the sun quicker and to more efficiently recharge your power bank when it's not, plugged in at a, somewhere like a hotel or something during your travels. Now, see, this is the dream. What I'm actually talking about here, let's just stop with the specs and stuff and we'll talk about what we're really talking about life-wise, is that we're talking about going out on road trips, going out anywhere, going out up into the mountains, going into the woods, going wherever you want, with this as if it were an acoustic instrument. So basically, your electronic music maker or your electronic music making entire studio potentially can be battery powered / solar powered pretty easily nowadays with what we've got going on here. And one of the elements of that is this Polyend Anywhere module. One thing that makes it really easy. And so I will show right now. What I've got it powering is the rings and clouds and rings and clouds. In the bottom row, I've got powered still by the tip-top Zeus power over here. Best to balance it out. I'm not trying to do a big old test with it. Hey, Will. Good to see you show up. You said you were going to show up. I wasn't expecting it because I know it's real late for you, but that's awesome. I appreciate it. I hope everything's still going well with you tonight. All right, and there we go. Got the lights all lit up in the rings, and the clouds did their thing. So yeah, looks like, let's see, we've got 100% going on here. Well, I don't need to. Anyway, there's that going on. So I'll turn on the other, and your rack on my mixer is up. So basically what I've got going on here is I plugged in I haven't tried it yet, but I plugged in the DFAM, the clock in from the mono station. So mono station is clocking the DFAM over analog clock. Yeah. Awesome. All right. I just had my evening Octoshot coffee, and I'm doing good. Although I was really nodding off before that. So then I've got the DFAM going into the mixer as well on channel 6. Okay, so then what I've got going on, since I don't have my Hermod yet, what I'm doing with all my way too many voices is I'm using my Molt to control multiple voices at a time with each keyboard. So what I've got going on is I want to control the rings with the Mini Brutes keyboard. That should be the rings there. Is it? Let's see. No, that's the. Well, let's see. Plats. Those are the Platzes. Oh, the rings is here. The rings. I've got the rings is. There we go. So yeah, and then so okay, that was the thing I was gonna do is on the keyboard. This is definitely the Platzes, and what I've got going on is one Platz. I've got both of them on classic here, classic waveform. Very same setting, right? Very same setting. So here's my left. Here's my other Platz going to my right. And so that's what it sounds like. But what I want to do is I want to pulse width modulate those, each of those with a different LFO so that they're phased differently with their pulse width modulation. So that's why I've got a kind of a long envelope going on them, but it's not long enough, so we might change that. So I'll put the monostation's LFO into the timbre CV, which is the pulse width modulation on that mode. And then we'll take the system 1's LFO. Platzes. I've got Platzes. And there we go. So let's check one at a time here. Oh, okay. So then we've got an attenuator. That's one great thing about Platz is it's got attenuators for everything. And so I'll go like widen that pulse width. Huh. Okay, so let's go LFO. Oh, okay, I don't have it. Let's see, LFO to aux CV depth. All right, there we go. It's a little fast. I think that's perfect. It's kind of rippy there. All right. Now next we'll do the right side with our system 1's LFO, and maybe we'll pinch it out on that side, on the plus side. Make it really obvious. Okay. So now I'm going to lengthen the envelopes. Yeah. I don't know if it really does work like I want it to or not. We'll see. The LFOs are kind of... It's like the sine wave... Oh, I see. I've got my fade on there. Oh, it's not a sine wave. Okay, let's put it on sine wave. them really fast. Slow it down a little bit. How about at a lower octave, maybe? Whoa, okay, I feel it. There we go. It is working. It's not very pleasant. What I'm doing isn't very pleasant. I wish I could find a way to make this arpeggiator and do a nice thing. Do some detuning here. How about just the square waves here? There we go. Okay, that's more like it. Alright, that's what I was looking for. But... oh, that's why the tempo isn't working. I've also got the tempo of the Mini Brute synced to the mono station, so I have to do this. I've got so many things swapped from the Mini station, or the Mini Brute and the mono station. I get confused. Oh, that's interesting. Alright, so while we're at it, what are we doing here? We've got something going into clouds. Oh yeah. In between the left and the right, I've got a sine wave going right in the middle with the third plats. Yeah, I hope it will get better every day. if I ever do anything twice the same way, which I don't tend to do. Okay, so then what I've got over here instead to think about, there's a lot of reasons why it's going to sound different, but the System 1 can do its different oscillators doing PWM differently. Let's see, CV and gate into the System 1 instead of the Platzes. Let's see. Okay, so all effects off. I've got the LFO going to amp and filter a little bit to make it nice, but I'll take those off. Both oscillators are being pulse width modulated. Let's do that a little bit more. Let's put the rate up a little bit. You can hear that? Yeah, the System 1 was my first synthesizer, and kind of like only just synthesizer. You know, it's besides this too, but its primary function for me has always been a key bed for everything else. Anyway, yeah, and then there's this. This is about the simplest synthesizer you can get. It's got that thing going on. So hey, let's turn the DFAM on and go run, but it won't run by itself because it's connected to this to advance the clock. So I have to press play. Like a duck. Make it quack like a duck. Make it quack like a duck. Make it quack like a duck. Okay, now, Will, if you're still here, and even if you're not, this is your fortune. Hey! Yeah, exactly. That exactly describes it. You will benefit by stretching your mind. Study a foreign language. Well, that last bit was more advice, but it's a good fortune. And it is good advice anyway. I talked about that last live stream. So this is doing pretty good here, but alright, I must say 88%. Now you've seen it go from 100% to 88%. You've noted how long that was. This is an old, small, pretty weak power bank as far as power banks go now on the market. It's one that we just always had in the house, never had a use for it until now. And so, and it does great for powering a row. Yeah. Okay. So that's how everything's going to talk together is, mini, everything comes from the mono station clockwise out to the DFAM, out to, for analog clock, and then MIDI out to here. And it's also got a MIDI through, so it could do that in another way as well, but doesn't need to because we've also got CV out for the triggers. Wherever we want them. And right now that is orange and purple. Orange and purple, here. The rings. It's actually a marimba, but see, like up there it sounds more glockenspiel, but down here it sounds more marimba. Lots more dampening. So, we'll go like... Later. Have a good night. You're awesome, Will. Stay awesome. Keep being awesome. Spread it around to everybody else. We need more people like you. You can really do something simple. The simplest things are the most beautiful. It's easy to clutter things up, but that doesn't seem to be the philosophy nowadays. Seems to be like, this is how we make music now. You better have at least 74 tracks in your song, your one track. And be like spicing all the little areas second by second until everything's all polished up good. And everything has its own space all by itself so that you can hear everything clearly. I like the idea of hearing everything clearly, but I don't know if I've liked the idea of a lot of the ideas that have been spread around the internet since I've started paying attention lately. Aha! Inverted popes. Nice to see you here again. I'm glad my OBS is behaving, or my internet is behaving now. During the day, I was having an issue. I think maybe, well, I don't think, I know. They give you different amounts of bandwidth at different times of day based on traffic, amounts of traffic in general in your local area, how many people use it at what times. Yeah, yeah, it's what you don't play. But it's just it's like it's not like I just composed that, you know. It's just that it probably somebody, quite a few people out there over time have all played that before, and how many people have recorded it? Who knows? I don't know. But if nobody has, that still doesn't give me the right to say, oh, that's my song. I did that, because did I do that intentionally? No. It came out of the instrument and out of what I just happened to do in that moment. It came out of the moment. It came out of everything. So I can't really own that, you know? So really, I don't know. At least what that means is I'm never gonna, even if I play the game on the music market, I'm never gonna expect too much or complain too much. Yeah, rings, man, rings into clouds, There. But without reverb. Marimba down here until you get a little more glassy, a little more metallic up there. Yeah. So, that's what's going on with. I'm gonna do something involving something being sequenced. Whoa, what's this? Oh, that. I'm like, how could there be sound coming out of that? That's the DFAM. Yeah. Um. So, how about sessions? Go patterns. Go like just start something since we've got the DFAM as a click track, right? Apparently, over there. Thank you, DFAM, for being my drummer from another mother. Okay, and we'll just start something. Okay. Oh, I didn't record that, and it's in the wrong scale, so it'll go like that. All right. The heck? Alright, we'll get that off the system 1 over here and put it back to our Euro rack, or have our mini brute controlling Euro rack. We got our CV over here, and gray means gate. Yeah. Still thinking about a DFAM? Yeah, it's awesome. That doesn't make any sense. Whoa. I'm so sorry. Oh yeah, duh. Why am I still hearing a different sound? System 1M. Huh. Weird. So strange because I don't have it hooked up. Or do I through MIDI? I must still have it. No, that still wouldn't play. Weird. You just witnessed a phenomenon. Oh well. I mean, you can see there's no CV hooked up into it, but it was still trying to play the System 1. Weird. Okay, now they're totally totally out of tune with each other. That doesn't make a difference. I don't know why. It's weird things. Oh, I see. It is off. Ha! Well, but that shouldn't matter. That's not the right voice. Anyway, back to these. Why aren't they playing? Oh, because I muted them. Now this is the stereo pulse width modulated phasing. Let's see the LFO. Come on now. LFO. I have to do this over again. Is all. Okay. LFO to Oxy V, and then it'll go to the plats on the left side, on the left ear. Sorry. Excellent. Right side. Yeah, it's a little, oh man, it's a little serious on that side. And it rings out more, so. That's bad. It's all very bad. Let's just try something. That's nice. Man, those Eurorack levels are so different from each other. It's hard to mesh them together. with this little mixer here. So I'm going to reiterate what I said earlier, because this is why I'm live streaming. The main reason is because I had to mention I got the Anywhere module, and this power bank is now at 80%. I started at 100% when I started here, and this is not the best power module or anything. It's just your basic run-of-the-mill cheap one from at least over 5 years ago. Yeah. Doesn't meet the minimum specs, but it powers a row just fine. The rings, clouds, and rings and clouds, all of this. And, yeah, Will said my sound seemed to be pretty good on my streams lately, and yeah, I do try to hit a certain pretty loud mark to get my loofs in OBS here. I look at the meter in OBS. But that's the whole thing, is like you gotta have a clean signal and have none of your gear messing that up by having some kind of hum or something. And that's what just happened with the circuit, is it started to have a hum to add to the system, to the studio, and that was not okay. So we're gonna figure that out. So far I've only had time to mess around a little bit with the new module and stuff, so I'm not messing with the circuit, but the DFAM can do my rhythm section for a little while, whatever rhythm section I might need. yeah, you just have to unhook everything and hook up everything else to everything else before you really find out. I thought it was so many things. I thought this mixer had finally bit it. And, I plugged it into another thing and it didn't have that issue. And then it did again in that other one. But only, it's like the hum went down when I turned down. When I turned up another channel, the hum went away. And then when I turned that channel, totally unrelated channel down, the hum came back. It's like, what? So it's just like so many mysteries. Related to Ableton Live. Yeah, I was just thinking about that today. That's why I brought this back up. I had my Launchpad and Launch Control XL sitting here. And it's been sitting here, and I even have set some things on top of it from now and then, like my pocket operators. But anyway, and then I had my RC down there, but I was like, oh, I'll just move it up because I'm not using those, and I'm not going to use those for a while based on all the projects on my list I have. I just kind of thought back about using Ableton, and it's great, but its only problem is that it's on a computer, and it's in the world of computers, and it requires of you all of that a computer requires of you. It's no fault of Ableton Lives. Huh. Yeah, it could just be a knob, because there are so many ways to get gain. Like on this, it's like, I'm turning this up, way up, and I'm like, but that doesn't turn up anything in OBS. It's just my headphones. And then, I go over here, turn that. You can't hear me. Now you can hear me. I don't know. Just, there's so many different things in the signal path. You just gotta know exactly what the signal path is, and then go at all points of the signal path. Replace and have other cables to replace it, and go like, oh, is it the cable? Because I thought it was the cables. Oh, those long cables finally went out, and then it's like, no. So I get to test all of that again. I have a lot of testing to do that I'm just not even probably gonna do, because I'm gonna go like and just get into other things, and then it'll be something way down there on the list. very good with my mutes there. They're not soft mutes, that's for sure. I would love to have that DivKid mutes module, or the Buffaco stuff that it was fashioned after. Yeah, that's pretty beautiful. I like it. I don't know what to do with these other two plats here. I was just going for trying out the pulse width modulation on the classic waveforms, and so I had them doing the same thing. But now I have them doing the same thing on everything. And with the LFOs on them. Yeah, yeah, thanks a lot. Yeah, thanks for coming again, Inverted Popes. Man, I'm glad that you have been showing up lately, and I hope you have a wonderful night. I am going to crash out myself, and I have a day off tomorrow, thanks to Veterans Day. Thank you, veterans of all types. Okay. Um, yeah. Make one of those cups of Yorkshire tea. Yeah, that sounds so good. I might just do that. Wow, because I shouldn't have another coffee before bed. That's for sure. Water for me. But yeah, take it easy. Thank you, everyone. Check out Polyend and everything they're doing. They're total game changers in everything they do. Uh, Not sponsored, but yeah. But I'm pretty happy about it. The fact that I'm gonna get a good solar bank. Um, a couple, four of them, and eventually have four of these and a 12U system on the road with a recorder slash mixer, little battery powered one called the Zoom Live Track L8 to record it all. And maybe for a little bit of backing tracks, I'll have the MC101. Here, oh yeah, I've got the Rhodes hooked up here too. Yeah, and I can even play it with my feet. Because it's my XP60 down there on the floor, and then my Arturia MIDI keyboard over here, actually playing it. And so I got that in the system. Got to have my Rhodes. All right. Well, I hope you keep on making wonderful, beautiful music like you always do, Inverted Popes, and have a good night. I'm actually signing off this time. Excellent. Y'all stay excellent and be awesome.